Hello, Pat. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
I am here. I'm still by the box stand with my son.
Oh,
so,
man. You've been sitting there a whole week.
a whole week, yeah. It's fun. He's, as I mentioned last week, he's really into fans. If I was not on the phone, I would be listening to some music with him because he is a big music fan of all types. Eclectic taste for a baby.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what's the soothingest music?
Okay, so randomly, he really loves Yusef Lateef.
Oh, wow.
He
nice.
Yeah, he really loves Yusef Lateef. Let's see what else he really likes. I mean, he likes his classic, royalty-free versions of Disney songs.
Okay.
Big fan of that.
Yeah.
A lot of MIDI. He really likes the soundtrack to Mario Brothers 3. That's like a big.
You should introduce him to those. Another thing that was very popular in the mid 2000s. There's that. It's like a ska version of the Mario theme song that has the.
Oh yes.
The classic Mario Brothers 1, and then halfway through they stop and then they go ba-na-na-na-na-na.
Yeah, 2005 was basically the death knell of the third wave of ska. So they were really getting into covering whatever they possibly could to move units. But yeah, he really likes the Mario 3 soundtrack until you get to the boss music.
Oh, okay.
And he freaked out that do 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 music.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
Just me doing the do 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 part. He dropped his pacifier and looked around. I think he's imagining that Lemmy Koopa has come through the door and or Wendy Von Cooper or whatever. So,
oh man,
but yeah, it's I reckon that you're still talking about 2005.
Yeah,
going to finish up the year.
Yeah, the episode ended up being a behemoth. No surprise there, considering the subject matter. And
yes, indeed.
We've reached the summer of 2005 in our discussion.
Well, that does make sense, right? You got through July through June, and now you're getting into July to the end.
Yeah. So we got half the year. It's all covered, and now we're rolling into the second half of the year.
Have you all talked about wrestling at all?
We have not, actually.
There was actually a big piece of wrestling news. It was the death of Eddie Guerrero. When we last talked, I actually looked it up. And
that's right.
Yeah, it was 2005. Eddie Guerrero had passed away. It was like a heart attack.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That was really sad and unexpected. I don't know. I know that a lot of the listeners of the show are wrestling fans and know Eddie Guerrero's work, but Eddie Guerrero was I don't know if you agree, probably you do, probably one of the most talented wrestlers of really all time. I mean, that was a prodigy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this was 2005. Part of the reason that we didn't get into wrestling, this was the last year of my wrestling hiatus. I took off about 4 or 5 years, and I came back in 2006, right when the Spirit Squad and Umaga were really getting going, which was that next year. And it's a miracle I'm still on board at this point. Between that and what's happening now.
The Spirit Squad was quite terrible.
I loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
And if I recall correctly, 2000, I guess that was a bit later, because one of the things was I had a hiatus, and I stupidly got back into it right around the time when they started having the guest host.
Oh, yeah.
I remember distinctly, I personally hold responsible Ken Jeong and Jeremy Piven for ruining the that's when WWE Raw jumped the shark.
That was the nadir.
When they did the Summerfest.
Yeah.
You will be banned from the Summerfest. Oh my God,
the Summerfest. Chris Pontius and Steve-O getting thrown around by Umaga.
Oh God, yeah.
And they were drunk.
Yeah, well, I think Or there was the one where Al Sharpton was a guest host, but he just didn't. He was so disinterested about it. He was just I don't think he was plugging anything. I think it was just I don't know what was going on.
They just needed somebody.
But Eddie Guerrero passing away in 2005 was really shocking because it was the point in which he was in. I mean, the year prior he had basically had his career peak. And he was kind of in the middle of some weird feud with Rey Mysterio Jr. over saying that he was like the true father of Rey Mysterio's son Dominic.
Yeah, that's right. Which they still are
which,
referencing occasionally on the show now because Dominic is on the show.
Well, Dominic is like 6'1". So,
yeah, at one point, recently, Rey Mysterio won a match and got on Dominic's shoulders, and Dominic lifted him about twice as tall as his normal height.
For those of you that don't know, Rey Mysterio Jr. is like legitimately like 5'2".
Yeah,
and he's got this like giant son. It's like what is going on? And actually, if he wasn't wearing his mask, Rey Mysterio Jr. probably would look younger than Dominic.
Yeah,
because he kind of looks like a baby.
Yeah. Whenever he wrestles.
Eddie Guerrero was like, it was really sad because he had. For those of you who don't know, Eddie Guerrero is like from the Guerrero wrestling family, and he's like a prodigy. Like when he was like. Before he was 18, people were talking about how incredibly talented he was. Like, even when he was, like, 11, 12 years old, there'd be videos of him, like, messing around in the ring with his brothers, and people would just be like, wrestlers would just be like, this kid is going to be, amazing. He's going to be the greatest wrestler of all time. And he was undersized, and that was kind of his issue, was that he was a small guy. Even though, like, towards the end of his career, he was taking so much stuff that he was just super cut. But yeah, he was amazing. He was probably the greatest man to ever sport a mullet. He rocked that mullet hard and for long. But yeah, Eddie Guerrero passing away was like, that was like a real shock. If you're a wrestling fan and you haven't really broken into watching Eddie Guerrero matches, I would recommend checking out obviously the match that he had when he won the title for the first time.
Brock Lesnar.
Against Brock Lesnar.
Amazing.
Because that was about the loudest ovation I think I've ever heard.
Yeah, the loudest non-Stone Cold Pop in history.
Probably. It was that's one. He had a match with Rey Mysterio at Halloween Havoc 97. That was probably the greatest match in the history of WCW. And then, if you really want to get into it, go on your Daily Motion machine and look up the match he had with his tag team partner Art Barr as Los Gringos Locos, the pair of terror, wrestling El Hijo del Santo in Octagon. Octagon notable because he's the only wrestler that I know of that's named after a Chuck Norris movie.
Wow.
It's a mask versus hair match, and Eddie Guerrero has his hair on the line, so he's a tag team partner, and it is a glorious two-toned mullet. Like it's beautiful, and that's on the line.
Oh man!
So it's basically El Santo's son's mask versus this glorious mullet, and at the peak of, and it was at this. Pay-per-view called When Worlds Collide, which was like this pay-per-view that was made basically Lucha Libre, well known to the wider public, if you didn't grow up watching it or anything like that. So it's that one's amazing. It's probably one of my favorite wrestling matches of all time. So definitely check that one out for the mullets alone. Eddie Guerrero had passed away, and that was really sad. I don't know if you all hit the most important news story of 2005, and that being the debut of the Meat Enormous sandwich at Burger King.
No, we didn't.
No, my favorite. I've talked about the elusive meat on top of meat on top of meat sandwich, and that's when the King dropped that one on the problem.
Well, that's what's really important.
And all the commercials that hyped it up, where it was just silence, and it was the voiceover guy that does every commercial, just going meat on top of meat, on top of meat, on top of cheese. Yeah. As I mentioned before in a previous episode, if it still is offered, and it probably is because they did bring back the Angry Whopper, if you pull through the window and order the meat on top of meat on top of meat, they will not know what you're talking about. Yeah. So the branding doesn't hold even to this day.
Oh,
and it didn't when it was pervasive. Yeah, little guy, you do not know what I'm talking about.
But you will. Someday, my son, the meat on top of meat on top of meat will be yours.
Oh, he will eat plenty of meat enormous sandwiches. I'm interested to see how the year transpires as you get into the second half. I always kind of understood 2005 as being relatively nondescript.
In the next half, we got to look forward to My Humps by the Black Eyed Peas.
Oh my God, that's a real classic right there.
Photograph by Nickelback came up that summer.
Oh yes,
and
yes, I was actually sad that what's the name of that song? I left the pain
yeah.
that song figured you out. That's a 2003 one. I had to look that up.
Yeah, and then of course we get into the Colbert Report, which premiered in October of 2005, and then coming up in there, Guitar Hero. So we've got some stuff to talk about.
Are you talking about cargo shorts, which were big in 2005? Which I believe Kyle may still be wearing to this day.
I am currently sitting in my unair conditioned apartment with no shirt and cargo shorts, sitting by a fan. So 2005 lives at Disgraceland.
Yeah, I'm wearing my Uggs right now. My Uggs and ruffled Paris Hilton skirt. So
the apple
we're united
jeans.
in that. I believe 2005 was the year in which I did make the transition away from, I think, going all skinny jeans, because I did dabble for a short time in the Dwayne Allman bell bottoms. So
what?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a couple of pairs. I had a couple pairs of those, and I wore them on the reg.
Oh my God! I'm putting down a note. We have to talk about those next time you're in studio. I need to know everything.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I thought, I was a skate guy, so I thought they looked pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they did. I can't even deal with that image right now. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I didn't go full like Chris Robinson from Black Crows or anything.
That's kind of what I was picturing.
No. I mean, there was no scarves involved or anything like that. It was just like,
I was picturing you in
jeans,
you in a tunic.
Oh, yeah. I was dressed like Steven Tyler of that era. Which Steven Tyler still rocks those. That's the crazy thing. He still rocks those. Yeah.
And they've gotten more spangled.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They've got like designs on the
2005,
sides.
2005, a simpler time before Ed Hardy came into the picture.
Yeah, that's right.
That's when Christian Audinger was like retooling. He was like, yeah, this Von Dutch thing, it's done. I got to figure out my next abomination to unleash on the world. So, I look forward to learning more about 2005 with all of you.
Yeah, we'll roll into this episode, and let's start it now. Thanks, Pat.
Not a problem.
Now fix to start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares on the best part of my day.
The goods from the woods.
Hot damn!
Welcome to The Goods from the Woods, episode number 251, and welcome to part 2 of our exploration of the year 2005. My name is Rivers Langley. I'm here at Disgraceland Studios in Los Angeles, joined, just like last week, by Sam Harder, Joe Rains, Carter Glascock, and our very special guest from the This Is Rad podcast and Radland Records, Kyle Clark. June 9th, 2005, the PC version of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is released.
Oh, fuck.
And
one of the best in the GTA series.
Yes, but
Hot motherfucking coffee mob.
Bingo!
Yeah, that's what we're talking
The
about.
most important news item of the day, according to the newly formed G4 channel.
Uh-huh. Oh, God, I forgot about that. Forgot about
G4, have they merged with Tech TV yet?
Yes, they have taken over Tech TV.
That's right.
They've said, fuck you, screensavers. It's time for these assholes.
They did give me some really good cheat ideas.
Yeah.
They were very helpful.
You can tell when it launched because their thing is just stuff about the hot coffee mod and Resident Evil 4 was all their coverage for the first year of the channel.
Sam, what's the hot coffee mod? If people don't know.
Okay, let me explain. If you're not familiar with the GTA series, there's side missions you can play, one of which is taking people out on dates.
Yeah.
And if your date goes good, sometimes your date will invite you inside. The hot coffee mod...
Let's just be clear. If you don't kill your date, she will invite you inside.
Yeah.
That's true of real life, too, Rick.
That's how dating works.
Like, in any social interaction, only if it goes well, it's because you didn't murder.
If you don't crash the motorcycle and have her fly 60 feet down Crenshaw
Still
Boulevard.
could happen in real life.
So you get invited inside, and in the mod, it would show you having sex.
It was a mini game.
Yeah,
it was a rhythm game.
It was a rhythm game like DDR, but with your controller, Dance Dance Revolution.
Thank you.
And the character models were still fully clothed.
Yeah.
Because the game had never intended this to actually make the final cut.
The Wikipedia article is bizarre. Like, it has the picture here is just fantastic. It's
insane.
It's,
you only can have doggy style intercourse.
Yeah, it's CJ, the main character from GTA San Andreas, fucking a nurse, but they're both fully clothed.
Politicians made this into a huge deal.
Oh, yeah.
Hillary Clinton was one of the people who spearheaded the huge deal this was made into be.
I'm here today as a parent and a senator, and along with my colleagues and so many of the advocates from around the country, we are determined to stop a situation in which video games with pornographic and violent content are being peddled to our children. Many games contain content that is deeply disturbing. It's almost routine in popular games for players to spray other people with Uzis, to drive over pedestrians, to kill police officers, to attack women, and in some cases, even to engage in cannibalism. Players commit gruesome acts like these using top-of-the-line graphics in stunningly realistic detail.
Hillary Clinton, wife of Bill Clinton, was like, oh, this sex thing is a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be the last time she got everybody mad. After this, it was all smooth sailing.
Learned her lesson.
A protest group known as the Peaceaholics organized a protest on August 4th, 2005 at Rockstar's headquarters. The group demonstrated against San Andreas as well as the game Bully, the latter due to fears that the content could inspire children to become bullies themselves.
I fucking love the game Bully. That's one of my top 10 of all time.
Those were both great games.
I like Bully more than any Grand Theft Auto game except maybe 5.
Oh, yeah?
Like
Bully was fun.
I'm obsessed with things that take place in high school.
Oh, yeah.
So like that game was literally just a shot of pure heroin to my system.
In the original, because I had GTA San Andreas on PlayStation 2, and in the original game, you could have sex with people, but it wasn't a game. It was just a cutscene, and it was always bizarre because it would show the outside of the house, and it would have like the fuck sounds, and like CJ being like, "Yeah, baby," and then like, but then the camera would shake for some reason, implying that the guy filming this creepy scene is whacking off while he's filming the house, which means that whatever mysterious camera is following your character throughout the game is a pervert.
Yeah,
and it's also Lakitu.
Or God is a pervert. Is kind of what it's implying.
Guys, if you go to goodsrewards.com, you can get your God is a pervert t-shirts.
New shirt. But yeah. The hot coffee mod.
Hot coffee mod. Only made into a big deal because of how popular this game was.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, I think also 2005 was the very tail end of an evangelical wave. I can remember this very specifically. I graduated high school in 2003, so I remember very specifically at the very beginning of Bush, and maybe a little bit before, but before his presidency, through right afterwards, there was like this huge evangelical wave where WWJD bracelets
Bush
got
was
big.
like a born again guy.
Yeah,
so like not of this world really got to be a thing.
Yeah, that's like the whole Christian music got really big.
There was the WWJD, but then if you were a real nerd, you had Frog, fully rely on God.
Whoa. Yeah, I mean that's like I remember going to church camp when I was a little kid. Nobody went to church camp, and then when that wave hit, it was like standing room only at these summer camps where I was a counselor. And then I remember the tail end where it went away, where it was just like like, well, shit, this camp's gonna have to close. Like, it was like this really bizarre, huge wave where a lot of stuff like this GTA thing, like anything remotely not in their agenda, it just became a huge news story.
My timeline's all messed up on this. I thought like WWJD bracelets was like around the time of Pogs.
Well, no. Well, it'd be.
No, it's after that.
It'd be right after that. WWJD was heavy in like
2001,
99 through like 01. Like
or 2002. But like that's what I'm referencing as like a starting point for the wave. Whereas 2005
it was the rise of the hip Christian.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, which is what Bush was.
Yeah,
pre 9/11, Bush was the compassionate conservative. He was like the hip Christian. They were always like,
that King of the Hill episode really perfectly encapsulates it.
Right.
The Satan sucks in the Slayer font T-shirt. Because these were all of my bitterest rivals in high school.
Yeah.
Because all of the like artistic things that schools set up that were supposed to be like the weird kid refuges.
Yeah.
Like were all where the Christians fucking took over to catch people like fucking spiders.
Yeah.
And so I'd show up to drama club or have friends in band to play in bands with, and all of a sudden there's fucking Christian kids duping kids and kicking me out of shit.
I had a friend, and this is like 2005 exactly, who was a youth director. And they would have Halo nights, youth group Halo nights.
Yeah.
I mean, they were like sneaky.
A
how they
kid
get
when I was
them
in
in.
8th grade tried to dupe me, took me to a youth group meeting because I'd slept over at his house and we were going to go see Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And he didn't tell me I had to sit through a fucking youth group meeting first.
Our youth group was stupid because they did all the fun stuff first and then the devotional. So I would just bounce.
Oh, see, that's solid.
I've talked about this before. They had chicken fingers with the good honey mustard. They had golden eye projected on the fucking walls of the church.
Not a trap, I don't know what is.
Yeah, chicken, and they had a fountain. Not just they didn't have just fucking 2 liters like some bullshit
fountain?
church. They had a fountain.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is big business.
And in
right
later
there.
years, we would just go in there during the day, and we figured out how to turn the soda fountain on, and we just had
squeezing the juice,
free Cokes, dude, free Cokes forever.
In 2005, that youth, I just thought of this. That youth director friend, his name's Eric Philibom, blew up my car.
I'm sorry?
Like, it exploded 3 times, lifted off the ground, had like a 50-foot flame, straight up Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Like the
blew,
movie Casino?
What?
Like, he was, yeah, literally, he was living in a house behind.
Were you at the church camp, Senator? How many times have you been in my church camp, Senator?
Speaking of Vestavia, he was the youth director for Cahaba Heights United Methodist Church. And he was living in the house behind the church because that was part of his like payment package or whatever. And I went to hang out with him because he was a church camp friend. We were going to play Halo, and they had kicked a roommate out, and they had this mattress that he left behind, and apparently like his girlfriend was like really gross and vocal during sex or whatever, so they were like, we gotta burn this mattress. We gotta get the evil demons out of this mattress. So they lit the mattress on fire, and then they put it out with a garden hose, but what they didn't realize is you can't put a mattress out once it's engulfed.
Right.
So as a joke, they put it against my car, so I'd have to get wet and muddy to move it. This is the middle of winter, so what they didn't realize is it's going to catch back on fire, and the temperature difference between in my car and outside where it was on fire shattered the window. Then it set the interior on fire, and I had just filled the gas tank up. So then it lit the gas in it lit the gas in the engine, which was the first explosion. Then it lit the gas in the lines, which was the second explosion. Then the tank exploded, which was very full. And it literally lifted off the ground. So I'm running in. And I had like 600 CDs in there too, because like. I mean,
that's the real tragedy.
It's 2000.
Yeah, because it's like 2000. So I literally had. I literally had like 2 giant Case Logics in the front seat of like 600 CDs, like everything I'd ever loved, and like so I'm running in a circle, crying, screaming, and they're like, "Oh my god, and I'm like,
"Did they buy you a new car?"
They gave me like $2,000 each. But no, insurance gave me like some money too, and then I got another car after that, which wasn't as good. But that car was dope as fuck. I'm still mad about that.
You should have called the cops.
Like, I mean, the fire department came out and and he was talking to the guys like, "You boys know you gotta make this right. You know that, right?" And they were like, "Yes, sir." I mean. It was fine. It was like a Civic EX with a sunroof and no governor switch. Fuck. That thing was the best. I got it up to like 130 on the interstate.
What kind of backwoods way to deal with arson is that? You guys got to make this right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Have you met the South?
Yeah. It was a shitty day. I just remembered that. I was like, what happened to me in 2005? And I was like, oh yeah, those assholes blew my car up.
The thing is that the firefighter in question is the uncle from the Dukes of Hazzard.
No, he was the Vestavia fire chief, and he had one of those goofy ass fire chief hats on. It was very surreal.
almost every.
That's the craziest story I've ever heard. I think
I've known you for a decade.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
putting this story on me now.
I didn't really think about it a lot. It was not a good story. I had
I
so
bring that
many
up
CDs.
every day.
Yeah.
that's a great story. What are you talking about?
I locked my keys in my car a while ago, and I still talk about it.
Yeah, I mean,
And the fact that the catalyst was all, oh, that girl was loud during sex.
Well, I mean,
We need to burn a
specifically-
mattress.
because it's the volume that makes the mattress dirty.
it wasn't that she was loud. It was that I don't know how they knew this, but like she like had wet the mattress.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was like a gross thing where they were like, we gotta get this the fuck out of the house.
Okay.
And then they lit it on fire, I guess, to rid it of the demons, and then made my car lift off. I mean, if it had been somebody else's car, I would have been like, that was awesome, but it was my car,
Well, yeah,
so I just cried. I just
A burning car on its own is awesome.
it is awesome.
especially when it lifts off the ground like more than a human's height. Like that thing lifted. Yeah, that was sucked. And then I had my favorite pair of Fat Man shorts. If you're a
truly
fat
the-
man,
yeah.
you know how hard it is to get a good pair of shorts where not only does it fit right, it feels good, and it doesn't make you look fat. And somehow it's like I can wear clothes too, even though I'm obese.
That genuinely is upsetting.
Yeah, the Fat Man shorts like really stuck in my craw because they were also corduroy shorts, and I was like, yeah, I got corduroy shorts. I'm cool. What about it? Because Fat Man can't wear corduroy, so it was like a whole.
Yeah, they can.
I wore so much
I
corduroy.
only
and was
wore
so
corduroy
fat.
for
Yeah, but
most of my fattest times.
Yeah.
It's too.
I had corduroy pants.
Yeah.
all throughout high school.
Well, then you know there's no give and it's hot, so you're suffering for fashion as a fat man when normal people
Oh,
are
yeah.
just
Loved corduroy.
breathing
I
in
loved
it.
them. They're soft. Yeah.
God, I love that everyone in this room was basically the same guy. We just went to different quadrants of the world.
Sweet, 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 sweet fires in the street. Let's sully every state. Lick my lips and twist my hips, but Contessa, I already did.
I'm sorry about your CDs, Joe. Speaking of music, July 2nd, 2005, Live 8 is held to coincide with the 20th anniversary of Live Aid. 10 simultaneous concerts leading up to the G8 Summit in
VH1
Edinburgh.
was so excited about that.
They
My
should have been.
God.
It was Pink Floyd's reunion thing. I still watch that on YouTube.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a tight little set.
Oh, we're going to talk about that in a second. I just want to point out that Oasis declined to participate in the concerts as they were performing in Manchester the same evening. Noel Gallagher later expressed disapproval that the musicians were expected to rally at the convenience of Bob Geldof.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. I love that he's such an asshole, and he's usually not wrong. You know, he's just that guy. Gallagher also vocally skeptical about the impact of Live 8, citing his belief that rock stars did not have as much of an influence over the world as Live 8 organizers may believe.
He was pretty far ahead of the curve. It
Truly.
took the rest of America until a little while ago to figure that out.
Is Noel the sensible one, or is
Yes.
that, okay?
But he's also an asshole. Like,
Yeah,
they're both dicks, but Liam is the bigger dick. Yeah.
Liam's like he's the singer who writes literally none of it, but has the nasal voice. And,
Okay, yeah.
Noel,
He's like the drunken insane person.
Yeah, he was the one
He runs
during
a fashion label now. Now
What?
that Noel quit Oasis.
the only profession where you can be a bigger dick than music. is
Right,
the
yeah, yeah.
fashion label.
Well, you can. I wonder, does he heckle the models who do his clothing at the shows?
it was
Stands up on the
fucking
balcony?
shit.
Noel Gallagher is one of my favorite moments, and it has to do with the Gorillas, and it's because the Blur and the fucking Oasis had the
Right,
thing
yeah.
forever, and then Liam Gallagher went on when the Gorillas started, described them as children's music and dismissed them as a band that he's like, I don't even listen, that's children's music, and then Demon Days came out and was the biggest thing ever, and this is as Oasis is just crashing
Oh,
and
yeah.
burning, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
right before Don't Believe the Hype or whatever it's called comes out.
Yeah,
And afterwards, they're interviewing Noel after Oasis is broken up. It's like, hey, what do you think of the Gorillas? That record that you guys made fun of really turned out good. And he's like, yeah, no, he is kind of a genius. I know what I mean. He's like, Liam called it children. He's like, yeah, but fuck Liam. That's just there's no better moment for Oasis than that moment.
Pink Floyd played Live 8. It was their the first show with the original lineup since 1981.
Did none of them die?
And what would turn out to be their last ever.
okay.
Yeah, Richard Wright died.
Is it good?
It's phenomenal.
Because I think we've talked about this ad nauseum off mic, but like I have a complicated relationship with Pink Floyd because they're great until they died in that horrible fire in 1978.
yeah. After
they were on that same plane as the Rolling Stones. And Brian Wilson, like just all these artists that I like a lot as long as they died by 1982.
Brian Wilson was playing the Berlin section of the Live 8 show, actually.
Because the Smiley Smile tour is going on and being okay.
Gilmour steadfastly refused to play Pink Floyd's most recognizable radio hit, Another Brick in the Wall, deeming its anti-education message inappropriate.
And also some Roger Waters bullshit.
Well, that's what he says. Anyway, I don't like it much. It's all right, but it's not part of the great emotional oeuvre.
What do they play?
It was a 20-minute set. They all showed up in separate limos and left the same immediately after the show. Breathe, Money, Wish You Were Here, and Comfortably Numb.
Not bad.
No, it's good.
When asked if there'd be more Floyd shows, Roger Waters said, quote, David is completely uninterested. After Live 8, I probably could have gone for more music stuff, but he's not interested.
Because you suck. You're the worst.
Coachella could have pulled it off if they had the money.
Yeah. Gilmour.
I don't think so. Gilmour doesn't give a fuck about money. He's already rich. He just hates Roger Waters.
But maybe he could have caught Prodigy beforehand and been like, this is worth it. I get to see that.
Gilmour sounds like more of a dick because he got to keep the Pink Floyd name, release albums under that name, and then also he says, it's all right, but it's not part of the great emotional oeuvre. Like, fuck you.
Well, no, he's right. He's right on all accounts. He gets to keep the name, but Roger Waters gets the royalties from all the hits. So it's like, I mean, who's winning in that? Definitely not Gilmour. He just lost millions of dollars. And also, Roger Waters is a dickhead. Listen to his WTF where he tries to apologize away a life of being a shithead. Like, the whole thing is him being like, they made fun of me because I didn't know how to tune my bass. It's like, yeah, you just spent 20 minutes talking about how you're a master and you can't tune your instrument, master. Like, fuck yourself. I'd make fun of you too.
Yeah, that's the first thing you have to learn when playing an instrument.
Yeah, it's how to tune it. And you can't even tune your own instrument. It's like, well, I wrote the lyrics. So,
I'm going to throw this out as well. I think that he didn't want to do Another Brick in the Wall because the Class of 99 cover for the Faculty soundtrack pretty much nailed it.
And it's an exact ripoff of Shakedown Street by the Grateful Dead.
You're listening to Kyle Clark on a podcast. I brought up the Faculty. Take a drink.
July 20th.
God damn it.
Oh, man. This is not a real song.
Nickelback's Photograph. Oh God, it's This is where I grew up.
This hurts me. It's not good. I remember being very
married
upset.
to Avril Lavigne by this point.
No,
that's
not
after.
yet.
That's
That
after
was like
both their careers were.
I was gonna say that was late era for both. I think.
Yeah.
They were both fairly popular at this time.
Okay, I'm an asshole. I'm from Southern California. I don't have real life experience. I have a question for all four of you. Do you know actual Nickelback fans?
This came out when I was in college, and I feel like by the time you're in college, you've already excised shitty people from your friend groups because you're not forced to hang out with anybody.
Oh, see, I had the opposite because I lived in the dorms, so I was having to really double down on meeting people I did not like.
I knew people who probably liked him around the era of How You Remind Me.
Yeah, well, that's 2001.
Yeah,
and it's funny because they
that's what and also Stained was big then too, which is basically the
but
same
we all make fun of this, but they sold the platinum selling number of records.
Yeah.
So someone somewhere is lying.
Yeah. Well, I also lived in Austin, Texas my whole life.
So you were in a bubble like me where it's like...
Well, where people are like, I'm too cool to like this bullshit, you know?
And all I ever remember about them when I was in 2005 era was us making fun of them. I don't remember anybody being like, did you hear the record? Or I don't remember anybody being like, it's okay. I just remember all of us just being like...
I think this was like a contemporary VH1 style. If you were older, you probably liked this, like that "Have a Bad Day" song.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say because the "How You Remind Me" was a VH1 jam in 2000, 2001 when it came out. This is like kind of their, I guess, second wave, second album kind of a thing. And similar,
who is their demo? That would be a good thing.
Is Rockstar on the same record?
Yeah, I think this is Rockstar. Yeah. This is
why do we know that?
I don't know. Well, we did the butt rock.
Is this one that's got the
I like your pants around your feet. That one, yeah. The fucking and I figured you out. Yeah, which by the way, shout out to all of the listeners who said that should have won the butt rock gauntlet. I tend to agree.
No. The one that should have won was the Tick Tick Boom.
Well, that's what did win.
Oh,
yeah,
Saliva.
Yeah. Click Click Boom did win, but I like your pants around your feet. Upon further reflection, is so much buttier. But
wait, where did Crazy Bitch end up on that list?
I think that maybe Crazy Bitch got eliminated by.
That's a fucking travesty, and I will write a firmly worded note to to Pat.
Well, this is all Dr. Pat's doing. I don't know if Crazy Bitch. We might have done some other Buck Cherry song actually.
Seeing you fucked up. Because Crazy Bitch is the butt rockiest song literally ever.
Well,
made.
hey, Butt Rock Gauntlet 3 coming soon.
Nicole Buchanan brought to my attention that at one point the lead singer of that song just goes, "I'm getting laid."
I don't know why it's a fad to hate on Nickelback.
You're gonna know the name Nickelback. Like, it doesn't matter if you like them or not, you know the name.
I mean, their music's been around for so long, I don't know how anybody can't like it.
People, even the critics, love Nickelback. They're just not allowed to admit it. That's it.
Everyone says they hate them, but once they hear their songs in a bar when they're drinking, everybody knows the songs. Everyone knows the lyrics. Everyone's just a fake hater.
I'm through with standing in line because I never get in. It's like the bottom of the ninth and I'm never gonna win this.
Life hasn't turned out quite the way I want it to be. Tell me what you want. Hey, I want to be a rock star. Oh.
July 24th, Lance Armstrong retires after winning his 7th straight Tour de France.
Fucking champ.
He would return to cycling in 2009, place 3rd in the Tour de France, and have his career completely undone by hubris and, to a greater extent, USADA dope testing.
He was gassed.
My God. Speaking of Austin, Texas.
Yeah. He was such a big hero there.
Oh, yeah.
Such a big fucking hero. And
the people of Austin disgusted that someone would take drugs and then do what they do.
Yeah.
Now take it away, butthole surfers.
Yeah, he was. I think the issue with Lance is just that his whole thing was like, I'm the clean cut guy, you know? And then he was just juiced out of his
No
gourd.
one should ever try for that. No one in the history of being a clean cut person has ever not fucked it up.
No,
and
yeah.
People always go, no, that's going to be my angle. Like, no, just say you're a bad guy out the gate and then you're kind of fine.
Yeah. And then people also tried to save it. People who still wanted to be on his jock were just like, everybody dopes, right? It's not true.
Well, it's funny because I was going back and looking at all the, on the Wikipedia of all the Tour de France's and stuff, and it's always like winner, and they have it like
asterisk
crossed out and says none.
Yeah, yeah.
So if he hadn't come back,
he would have been fine.
He would have been fine. So August 12th, Deuce Bigelow, European Gigolo is released.
I'm Deuce Bigelow. I'm a gigolo from America. Now, there are a couple hundred gigolos in this room. Now, if we all work together, we can find out who the real killer is. What do you say?
Los Angeles Times film critic Patrick Goldstein called Schneider, quote, a third-rate comic. Schneider responded by taking out a full-page open letter in Daily Variety and The Hollywood Reporter, calling Goldstein a third-rate, unfunny, pompous reporter.
You know what would have been funnier is if he had put that review up there and then be like, Rob Schneider's a cool guy.
Right. And saying that Goldstein was unqualified to review the film since he had not won a Pulitzer Prize for journalism.
You remember how the 2005 cocaine was? It was so good.
That's the defense of European Gigolo?
Yeah. In his own review, Roger Ebert responded by saying, quote, as chance would have it, I have won the Pulitzer Prize. Mr. Schneider, your movie sucks. Ebert and Schneider eventually patched things up, and after Ebert's death in a letter to his widow, Chaz, Schneider would admit that the situation caused him to, quote, reassess what pictures I really wanted to make, which turned out to be none because he hasn't done anything that's not Adam Sandler related since.
I cannot wait for him to be in a Paul Thomas Anderson film. And that will happen. The cast of Grown Ups is going to be the cast of a Paul Thomas Anderson movie where the poster is just Paul Thomas Anderson slam dunking a basketball. Going like, I'm kind of like movie god now.
Oh, fuck. There's one for Sam, August 14th. People of Am is canceled.
Now, Mark, what will he do next?
Whatever the fuck I want.
Wait, hold the fuck on. That show got canceled in 2005?
Yeah, man.
I was still watching that into like 2009.
It's because
they still showed the reruns.
Yeah.
They had enough episodes for it to be like in syndication, basically.
That's nuts.
Yeah. It had.
I remember specifically
it was
being
still
jazzed. Like, I hated that show, and I remember when it got canceled, I was like my first, like not my first, but it was like a real heavy. Was it Schadenfreude experience?
Schadenfreude
experience where I was just like, hell yes, fuck this show, hell yeah.
Based on this, there is a thing I keep wanting someone to make for me that is inspired from Viva La Bam, and it is I want an American flag where all the stars are heartograms.
we'll put we got graphic designers out there.
Please get at me with that and just send that to @KyleClarkIsRad on Twitter or Instagram.
Yeah, make sure the stripes are purple and black.
I want regular and purple and black because I also just like the idea of putting one up and seeing people get thoroughly upset.
Yeah, they tried to continue Jackass without the California crew.
Yeah,
and it was not as good.
I was more of a Wild Boys guy.
Well, yeah,
Wild Boys was tremendous.
Wild Boys was fun. That was a good idea.
I watched a Wild Boys movie.
It was more fun. The Bam Margera Pennsylvania crew was more mean-spirited.
Yes. Yeah.
All their pranks are just like, how can we hurt each other?
Oh, yeah.
Or like, you have something you really love. I want to destroy it.
Hell yeah.
You really picked up in the Jackass movies that they really started trying to just get retribution, and they were just assuming we've all watched Viva La Bam. We know that what they're doing is totally fine. When they throw the snakes at him, is what I always think of with that. Is like, oh, we've watched 5 seasons of Viva La Bam. We're fine with throwing him into a pit of the thing he's terrified.
Oh, I
loved
that. That was my Schadenfreude right there. Was watching Bam Margera cry.
Great. That is great.
It was like Viva La Bam was like watching like a rich kid get away with anything. I mean, it's like that Rob Dyrdek Dream Factory bullshit where it's just like, who gives a fuck about this guy? Like, he's like, today I'm going to light a firecracker out of Phil's ass. And it's just like,
Also, his pranks would always just be like him, clearly up on drugs all night.
Yeah.
He was a meth head, and then he'd be like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go into my dad's room while he's sleeping and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? How is that
I
fun?
always wondered why his parents weren't just like, we don't like you. Please
I need
leave."
more Bam.
Oh, well, I was going to say, I need to point out that Bam and Buffalo Bill are not that far off. So please, Buffalo Bam, take it away.
Buffalo Bam.
Phil's going to put the lotion on his skin. Or else he's going to get the hose again. Okay? I'm going to give him the hose either way. I think we're going to get him to play. My brother's shitty band CKY that is popular for no other reason than my horrible TV show.
It's now turning into Lorne Michaels. Yeah. $1 million.
Yeah, Dr. Evil, Lorne Michaels, Bam Margera.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he was just despicable watching him
The one I remember was Johnny Knoxville came to town.
Prank war!
And it was like the prank war, and Johnny Knoxville's like, all right, we're gonna cut the top off of Bam's Hummer.
Destroyed the Lamborghini or
it was
something.
the Lamborghini,
that purple one. Yeah.
And then like he comes outside and sees it, and Johnny Knoxville's like he does like a Urkel-esque, did I do that kind of staged thing. It was just like insufferable. It was like these fucking there's like 8 and more like fucking convertibles lined up behind that. Like there's no stakes involved.
No,
it's just
absolutely not.
Oh, that asshole! I'm gonna set his pubes on fire. I was like, Jesus Christ!
Please say, would you fuck Phil? I'd fuck Phil.
Yeah. Oh, I'd fuck Phil. Abe has to fuck Phil. Don't you? Bam, stop! Bam, stop! Yeah. Then Don Vito, that fucking amorphous blob.
Jesus Christ, man! I was jerking off in there. It's a soundboard.
That's who should have had his own show. Fuck Bam, Uncle the guy. He should have had his own show. I would have watched.
No,
that.
he was
molested.
Yeah, he was molesting
child molester.
people. Yeah.
I'm trying to molest him.
She's 13 years old and 6.
He was Pizza the Hut from Spaceballs. Yeah.
It's such what an amazing thing that just kept being a thing.
5 seasons. That's so many.
409 episodes.
Longest running TV show ever.
Well, my girlfriend loves the HGTV shows, and so I got that app on the Apple TV. And when you go to like the seasons in that like Live in Hawaii style or whatever it's called, there's like a new show on there. And
season 45.
So it's season 7 and it's episode 198. Like they shoot so fucking many of them per season. It's insane.
Yeah, that's fucking cold case files.
Yeah,
level.
Like it's just there's an editor at the center of the earth constantly pushing out new episodes.
Man, yeah. So Viva La Bam is canceled. That was August 14th. August 29th, a tragedy of equal, some say even bigger magnitude. Hurricane Katrina makes landfall on the border of Louisiana and Mississippi.
I have a distinct memory of this because I think this is right around the time I move into the dorms there, and I decided I was going to go to the gym, and the gyms had those TVs, and the only thing you could watch on any of them was just Hurricane Katrina damage.
Yeah.
So you'd just be on the thing, just watching death and destruction.
Yeah, that's like the last time you could eat Gulf shrimp with a clear conscience.
But let's remember that this did lead to the most significant moment of 2005.
Yes.
And that is a young, scrappy college dropout named Kanye West.
Yes, it did.
Next to a little love guru named Mike Myers.
Oh, I've got this on there.
Looks down the fucking barrel of the camera and says, George W. Bush does not care about black people.
Yes.
How do you go from that to Make America Great Again?
Millions of dollars and a lot of mental illness.
A lot of drugs and mental illness.
I would say if you look at literally every move Kanye West has done since then, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. That happens September 2nd, 2005, an hour-long celebrity-driven benefit concert called A Concert for Hurricane Relief, because if you remember, there was Katrina, and a week later, Hurricane Rita hit. Yep. So that they got just double fucked down there in Louisiana. It also led to, two of just the most satisfying moments as just kind of a pissed off, whatever, 20-something liberal, seeing Kanye West doing that, and then also Dick Cheney walking around Gulfport, Mississippi, and having a guy down the street going, "Fuck you, Mr. Cheney!"
Oh yeah, that
hero.
was great too. I thought you were going to say the look on Mike Myers' face.
Oh, we're gonna.
That too.
I'm gonna
That's
play it.
my favorite part.
I've got it right here.
Okay.
And there is a moment that no one talks about that I want to bring the attention to, but I do have it. Here's the
3 levees protecting New Orleans. The landscape of the
so
city
Mike
is
Myers,
dramatically
pre-Love Guru, by the way, because I was like, was he promoting the Love Guru here? But no, this is
over 25
he's serious and he's sad.
Gold member. It's what's the one? There's something in between.
Here you go.
I hate the way they portray us in the media. If you see a black family, it says they're looting. If you see a white family, it says they're looking for food. And it's been 5 days because most of the people
Myers looks like a wax statue.
And even for me to complain
knows
about
he's
I
going
would be
off
a hypocrite
script
because
already.
I tried to turn away from the TV because it's too hard to watch. I've even been shopping before even giving a donation. So now I'm calling my business manager right now to see what is the biggest amount I can give, and just to imagine if I was down there, and those are my people down there. So anybody out there that wants to do anything that we can help with the setup, the way America is set up to help the poor, the black people, the less well off as slow as possible. I mean, Red Cross is doing everything they can. We already realize a lot of the people that could help are at war right now, fighting another way, and they've given them permission to go down and shoot us.
And subtle, but
I'm gonna stop it because what he's saying is 100% true.
Yes,
and it is a fucking tragedy, and we should all still be ashamed of it. But there is the most perfect moment of comedy timing right here. After Mike Myers says what he's about to say, there is a beat that it's
it's one of the great moments in entertainment history.
The silence that is contained in this small beat is like the silence of outer space, and then Kanye West hits it perfectly.
In many ways, more profoundly devastating is the lasting damage to the survivors' will to rebuild and remain in the area. The destruction of the spirit of the people of southern Louisiana and Mississippi may end up being the most tragic loss of all.
This beat right here.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Fuck yeah! Now
this
is the moment that no one talks about that I wanted to focus on. Because it's the next thing that happens, he says it, and then we cut to a very surprised Chris Tucker.
In the past few days,
I like how everybody else is clearly reading a teleprompter, and then Kanye is just doing whatever. So does he have lines that are going he's not doing, or
he's just not reading?
He's just not reading the lines.
Okay.
Yeah,
I remember watching this live and going straight from the TV to the internet to read hip hop message boards.
Yeah,
who are just like, Kanye is the king. They fucking loved it.
It is the moment where he ascends to the heavens.
Well, yeah. So I figured this would be the time to talk about it. So our friend Nick Thomas at One Dumb Boy, check out his podcast. podcast,
yeah.
Table for One Dumb Boy, of course, there in Birmingham. When I put out the call, it was like, hey, has anybody got something they want to talk about from 2005? Late Registration.
Wake up, Mr. Webb! Mr. Webb!
Another one of my top albums from that
That
year.
was 2005 too.
2005.
God damn.
Yeah.
Great.
1 year after College Dropout.
Yeah.
And I would arguably, it's my favorite one. I don't think it's as impactful as College Dropout, but it's just top to bottom, like the shit.
It's so good, and the thing about, and I think we talked about this on the Kanye West episode that I did of This Is Rad with our guest from last week, Jason Webb. Actually, that Kanye West has accidentally made me like dude from Maroon 5 and dude from Coldplay with two of his singles, because fucking Late Registration came out and they have the song Heard 'Em Say, and I was like, this is so fucking good. And then the chorus is being sung by Adam Levine, and I was like, who's doing this chorus? And I found out, I was like, God damn it, he made me like a fucking Maroon 5 guy song.
Yeah, they were just prepping you to enjoy moves like Jagger.
Right, well, no, but then like 2 years later, Graduation comes out, and I really love Coming Home, and it's Chris Martin from Coldplay, and I was like, God damn it.
He did it a bunch. He made rappers with auto-tune cool.
Yeah.
And they're still cool to this day.
He got people who like hip hop to know who King Crimson is.
Right, yeah.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled.
Oh my God, yeah, that record is
Future Sex out this year
fucking
too?
amazing. That's 06.
That's 06.
That's
okay.
the next year.
That's like we can't have all the good odd albums out in a 4-month period.
Yeah, no, it's Late Registration, Gold Diggers, like one of the, I think it's like the third biggest song of the year according to Billboard.
And little do we know that we've just buried our own Glee grave, or dug our own Glee grave to be set up later.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, Glee came out later though, right?
Yeah, but it's the first bit they do is fucking Gold Digger.
Oh, that's right.
And you're
That's
just like,
right.
oh, fuck this show.
Old white people love that song, and I just say that because of my parents.
September 10th, Destiny's Child plays their last show in Vancouver.
No.
That 9/10 is actually my 9/11.
Guys, Kelly Rowland needs time to create.
She made that one song, Motivation.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah,
But she also
great
called Freddie Krueger a slur for the gays.
Oh,
in
no.
Freddy vs. Jason. And that's the best thing ever.
Oh, I thought you meant in real life.
Oh, no. If that was true, I'd be wearing a Kelly Rowland t-shirt. Because she'd be an insane person. But yeah, if you've never gotten a chance, Freddy Krueger and Kelly Rowland have real fucking beef in Freddy vs. Jason. He says something racist to her. She says something homophobic to him. She says he has a small dick.
What?
And then she gets murdered.
I thought I saw Freddy versus Jason. I don't remember any
Yeah, I
of this.
don't remember this part.
Oh, that's a large chunk of the third act of the movie is all of that.
I gotta rewatch
It's
that one.
pretty great.
The title of their tour, by the way, Destiny Fulfilled. ... and loving it.
Oh,
Like I think what they're trying to say is that this is an amicable breakup, which is why they threw in the
Beyonce, Kelly, and the other one are leaving as friends.
2019.
Yeah.
Are they getting back together?
Did you see Homecoming, the Beyonce?
Oh
Yeah, they got together for
It's all right.
They got together for 5 minutes at Coachella.
It's and then they were the end sequence at the end of Endgame.
Yeah.
After the credits, they walk in and go, "It's us and Spider-Man. We're the Avengers now."
They basically just had to end. Beyonce knew what was going to happen for her. She saw the writing on the wall of, if I leave this group, I'm going to become one of the most successful female solo artists there
Yeah,
is.
because
her and Justin Timberlake ever had a phone call where they're just like, "Isn't it crazy that when you realize if you abandon your friends, you can become the most popular artist of all time?"
Yeah.
Or do you ever think like Kelly Rowland and JC Chazé call each other?
Oh, there you go.
Man, we were just dead weight.
I was about to say,
get coffee.
There should be a super group called Dead Weight. That's just half
All of NSYNC and Kelly Rowland.
NSYNC and Michelle, what's her face from Destiny's Child,
and Don Vito's there too.
Just started jerk off. My body's too bullets. I'm the manager.
That NSYNC guy, NSYNC's manager, look like he does kind of look Don Vito.
Boy, it's gonna be
And
me.
he was also a child molester.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's the most excited anyone's ever been to be reminded someone was a child molester.
Although, as we talked about in our boy bands episode, we found out that Lou Pearlman also a blimp millionaire. That's how he made all of his money, was in blimps.
So he went from blimps to boy bands.
How happy was Pat when the words "blimp millionaire" were brought up?
Evil fuck right there.
Oh my god.
A blimp millionaire.
They don't even know about my monocle fortune.
He made his vast fortune in Zeppelins.
Yeah. This is, I played Photograph earlier.
Here we go.
This is a lower point, I think. I think this...
That's entirely possible. Photograph is bad, but it's not.
I think
it's not even the worst Nickelback song.
No, you're right.
I think this is one of humanity's lowest points right here. This is My Humps by the Black Eyed Peas.
Shit.
What you gonna do with all that junk inside your trunk?
This is...
Get you drunk, get you love drunk off my hump.
Carter's really into this right now.
My hump, my hump, my hump, my hump, my hump, my hump.
My lovely lady lump.
Oh,
Why?
lump.
That's so weird.
They switch it up, I think.
Here's the thing. We're in a rough spot in America.
I think this
and
is
people
worse.
sometimes sit
This
around
song
and go,
is
"This
worse than
the
Donald
worst
Trump."
Culture has been.
This is a
Let's remember.
I don't
that
even
This is a
remember this
response
being
to
that popular.
Katrina. We needed to dance.
Let's put this in context. This is a band that at one point decided, look, we've had a whole career. Because remember, they were a Warped Tour band for a long time.
Yeah,
and then like, look,
socially conscious, too.
Let's abandon all that bullshit and write a song called "Let's Get Retarded."
Yeah,
and
yeah.
follow it up with "My Lovely Lady."
My lovely lady lumps.
I don't even remember this song being that big. I remember.
This was
Let's Get Retarded was on another level, but this was everywhere.
This was huge.
Yeah, no, I remember because, September 20th, 2005, I would have been moving into my apartment, Shady Glen on Glen Avenue in Auburn, Alabama, and I remember plugging in my TV, fucking plugging in the cable, turning it on,
And this was just
and then
on.
flipping it to VH1, and then at some point I was moving in, and I remember like setting my boxes down. Like I have a vivid memory of this, like putting my shit down and like unloading, and then I had it just as background, so I wasn't paying attention, and then I was like, I'm sorry, is she saying "My lovely lady lumps"?
Yes.
And I turned around and I was like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Now, I will say this: Fergie has since made good because I assume you've heard the song "MILF Money."
She cut her guts out and then had a second
Nah, she
behead
released
her.
"MILF Money" and all is forgiven.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard that one.
She's like, "I'm old, but you still want to fuck me." And it's that with a real banging beat.
Okay. Whatever. This is
What movie was she in?
I don't know.
Because around this time, she did like a turn in a movie, and I never remember what it was.
I'm not sure.
Because I remember
actually.
seeing it, not knowing who it was. Because
Being
again,
like,
I was in the
that's
hipster
Fergie.
hole, and then somebody was like, "It was crazy that Fergie was in that movie." Like, pardon?
Yeah, I mean, this was an era where they were just like, anybody who's a popular music star should try acting. 50 Cent had a movie this year. I'm sure. I don't know if we're going to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
What was the movie?
Get Rich or Die Trying.
That's it. Because the problem is I confuse Get Rich or Die Trying, Bulletproof, and Blood on the Sand. Because he also had 2 video games.
Yeah, the video games, which were
Not bad.
better than you would think.
Fergie,
Shockingly playable.
Fergie was in the Get Shorty sequel with The Rock called Be Cool.
That's
yeah,
what I'm
that was
thinking
what
of.
she was
That's
in
what
this
it
year.
was.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's it.
I don't know. I feel like I lived in a different place because I don't remember those songs being liked as much.
Were you
as
not? But you were in a
everyone
dorm.
hating
This
them.
was just
Yeah.
all things that were happening in my dorm.
Yeah, I just remember everyone being like, "This song sucks," but it was on TV.
These
nonstop.
were the songs of girls who I thought were cute who didn't want to come back and listen to Bright Eyes with.
I wasn't even trying. That wasn't even on my radar in 2005.
What?
Taking a girl back to my dorm room or my apartment, that was like not even in my head. So that's probably why.
But how else are you gonna ask them if they want to listen to Bright Eyes and get a back rub?
I don't know. I was too busy hating
I was a
myself
real
and being
creep.
fat.
I'm
Yeah.
not proud of anything I did, but it did happen.
Joe admitted before we started this that he spent most of 2005 in a blackout in Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, this is 2005, so I would have left. Half the year would have been dorm, the other half would have been in my apartment, and I would have either been at church camp or just discovering the wonders of alcohol.
Cool.
So yeah, I was drunk for a lot of this, in my own little world for a lot of this, but mostly either in a dorm or in my apartment playing NCAA football or something.
The sun came up with no conclusions. Flowers sleeping in their beds. The city cemeteries humming. I'm wide awake, it's morning.
Hey y'all, Rivers Langley here. I just wanted to take a second to recommend some great podcasts that are available now on Stitcher Premium. The queen of comedy podcasting, Lauren Lapkus, is back with a long-awaited new season of With Special Guest Lauren Lapkus. This is the only podcast where the guest is actually the host. It's entirely improvised, and you never know who will show up. And speaking of improv, you can binge on comedy originals like Big Grande's Teacher's Lounge, which the AV Club says mines pure comedy gold from education's underbelly. Teacher's Lounge is a behind-the-scenes look at the fictional Hamilton High School as told by 4 of its honors department teachers, played by UCB's Big Grande improv group. With Stitcher Premium, you can also get thousands of hours of original and ad-free content like Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend and the classic Comedy Bang Bang. Plus, you get early access to new releases, exclusive bonus episodes, and archives of your other favorite podcasts, plus hundreds of hours of stand-up comedy albums. To get a free month trial of Stitcher Premium, go to StitcherPremium.com and use the promo code WOODS. That's right, go to StitcherPremium.com and use the promo code WOODS. Did I just do an ad? Did I just do an ad right now?
You are a sniveling little suck-up sellout full of suffering succotash, son!
Thanks, Roman. StitcherPremium.com. Use the promo code WOODS. Now back to the show. I want to just go to Twitter here. Like I said, I kind of threw out at the beginning. It was like if anybody has something we definitely need to cover. Shout out to our boys in the Yukon at the Dr. DC podcast. They said, and I'm going to throw this to you, Kyle, because I've never seen this movie, Constantine with Keanu Reeves.
It's great. Shut up, Richard. It's great.
Is it great?
So good. I love it. It's a movie that I will get real defensive about because it's
okay.
If it was called anything besides Constantine, people think it's a classic, but because it's like loosely tied to a good comic book, and they made a movie that's only pretty good about it.
What if I told you that God and the devil made a wager for the souls of all mankind? No direct contact with humans, that would be the rule. Just influence. See who would win.
Demons stay in hell, angels in heaven.
They call it the balance.
I need to see what you see.
You do this, there's no turning back. You see them. They see you. Understand?
It's Keanu Reeves. He fights demons. If you need more pitch than that, fuck yourself. He smokes a lot of cigarettes. So again, every part of this movie I'm on board for.
I mean, it's not a good. It's not
It
a
is a
bad
good-ass movie.
It's like a whatever's movie.
I've never seen it.
It's really it's super watchable. I would
Okay.
put it in like a movie that plays on like TNT.
Yeah, I was
and
about
you're
to
just
say,
like, fuck
yeah.
yeah. I'm like 7 minutes into this. We're gonna sit down and watch this. He gives a demon the finger like minutes into the movie. They kill Shia LaBeouf. Spoilers, but also enticement.
Ooh.
Peter Stormare's great in that movie.
Oh, where the fuck did that guy go?
And Tilda Swinton.
Yeah.
Like the cast in it, and Rachel Weisz is in it. Like there's so many good people in it.
Shit,
It's
okay.
a solid ass movie.
Okay.
It was bad when like people were like, I don't know, like I feel like there's so many shitty things now that at the time like we were like, this is terrible, and now you look at it and go like, actually that wasn't so bad comparatively.
Well, 2005 had a bunch of good ass comedies in it though.
Yeah.
Just Friends came out that year.
We're in the middle of that wave where it's like, man, I'm so sick of them constantly making comedy movies that employ comedy actors and comedy writers.
Yeah.
I hope they get rid of this forever.
That was the 40-Year-Old Virgin came out that year, which hit a little too close to home for me.
Yeah, same here, buddy. I was
Wedding
gonna say,
Crashers, Just Friends, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. You got to watch a marriage breakup over film.
Yeah, I was
going
to say Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston divorced on October 2nd. That was my next note.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Waiting came out that year.
We were talking comedies people should watch, though.
Waiting is a fun movie.
Waiting is, I would put in the same category as like The End to the Jazz Singer, where it's like historically important, I guess, but we got to give a lot of explanation about how it was a different time.
It's as watchable as Constantine.
No, man. When was the last time you watched Waiting? Because like I like things that push a button. That movie is borderline a hate crime.
Is it? I can't remember that.
And there's movies on that list that have some parts like, ooh, that didn't age well as we thought. All of Waiting.
The Producers remake came out that year.
A movie that I'm still convinced no one has seen.
Yeah, I was going to say,
no one ever watched that.
Well, yeah, you liked it. I want to remind everybody that Joe Rayans watches every episode of Saturday Night Live religiously. So,
well, that's because it's from more nostalgia. When I was like in high school, I wasn't like allowed to hang out with people my parents didn't know. So like I spent a lot of time at the house. So like SNL was
why? Is it because they'll blow up your fucking car?
Yeah. You're gonna find me waking up like you're gonna wake up with me over you one day with a cross, just going out SNL demon.
Well, I mean, it hasn't been good in like a number of years, but 2005 SNL was good.
Yeah, it's all right.
October 17th, 2005, speaking of comedy, The Colbert Report premieres.
Finally, a new television show premieres and changes the world. Open wide, baby bird, because Mama's got a big fat night crawler of truth. Here comes The Colbert Report.
Really?
Yeah.
R.I.P.
We needed that.
For real, R.I.P. Yeah.
I miss it every day. It's fun to watch the show he's on now that, well, it's not great. At least it's also destroyed a hole for the show that we desperately still need in this country.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
stupid
true.
Daily Show sits around and exists being crappy, and like the Colbert Report is a thing that the whole country sure could use.
Well, I mean, I feel like Last Week Tonight's kind of like that, similar.
Yeah, except that I watched the Colbert Report and I actively avoid Last Week Tonight because I don't want to be yelled at by a condescending British man about things I thought I agreed with him on.
Colbert was at least trying to be funny.
Yeah.
He was
he was able to make points because there was a joke, and so you were disarmed, and then he'd trick you into having to think about a thing from a different perspective.
Yeah. Colbert coins the term truthiness on night one.
Yeah. The man was great.
Which is the belief or assertion that a particular statement is true based on the intuition or perceptions of some individuals or individual without regard to evidence, logic, intellectual examination, or facts. And that would never come into play in our society again.
I tell it like it is. I calls them like I sees them. I will speak to you in plain, simple English. And that brings us to tonight's word. Truthiness. Now, I'm sure some of the word police, the wordinistas over at Webster's, are going to say, hey, that's not a word. Well, anybody who knows me know that I'm no fan of dictionaries or reference books. They're elitist, constantly telling us what is or isn't true or what did or didn't happen. Who's Britannica to tell me the Panama Canal was finished in 1914? If I want to say it happened in 1941, that's my right. I don't trust books. They're all fact, no heart. And that's exactly what's pulling our country apart today. Because face it, folks, we are a divided nation. Not between Democrats and Republicans or conservatives and liberals or tops and bottoms. No. We are divided between those who think with their head and those who know with their heart.
That was back the last time Daily Show was good too, though.
Well, yeah.
That like that little that block hour was.
Are you saying you don't like when Trevor Noah goes, can you believe this guy?
No, right.
Let's go to commercial.
November 8th, Guitar Hero is released.
Hell yeah.
God, that shit was so fucking annoying. I don't like it. No, because like for two reasons. A, because like everybody would want you to come to their dorm room and play it, and you're like, no. And also, if you ever had a roommate who liked to play it, they'd put their headphones on,
and you just hear.
I again live in that dorm life. I have at that point been playing guitar for like almost 10 years, and was really in my I'm a musician. That's all you need to know because I don't have a personality. Look at my hair, phase of life. And so I went to go play Guitar Hero, and I played a song I know how to play on guitar, and immediately failed out. And then left the room and came back in with my actual guitar and played along with the guys who were actually playing. And then about 4 days later, somebody was giggling, and they were like, I was like, what's so funny? They're like, did you watch last night's South Park?
Oh, I remember that episode.
Randy, in fact, does verbatim the exact thing I did.
Once I rose above the noise and confusion, just to get a glimpse beyond this illusion. I was soaring ever higher, but I flew too high. Though my eyes could see
it doesn't help for people who play guitar, but as I've been playing bass like that long, and it does help if you're like a bass player because it's all rhythm.
It's 4 buttons, right?
Yeah, it's like 4 buttons, and it's all rhythm. So if and I knew this guy back in Birmingham who was like the best bass player that any of us knew, and he would like destroy it every time on Expert, and it was like undeniably impressive. I mean, it was like he would like the Dragon Force song, like
best bass player in Birmingham is also good at Guitar Hero. Get out of here, Patterson.
I was gonna say I also played bass, and I ran with a crew of bass players who were we were in a jazz band together in school, and everybody was good at it. Everybody who
so it's a baseman's game.
Yeah, it really is. And I don't know, it ruined the song "Killer Queen" for me by Queen because I had to hear it so many fucking times.
The one Guitar Hero thing I will say that was fun was the first time I got to be a fun adult. I was working at a school, and like I was the after school care guy for the middle school kids because like everybody else hated them, so they were mine because they were mean and I loved them.
Yeah, middle schoolers are the worst.
They're the worst. And these are like ignored middle schoolers with rich parents, so they were truly like dead inside. I love all of them. And Friday afternoons, they didn't have homework, so I had to figure out shit to do with them. So it was perpetually me 5 minutes before they were about to be done with school putting something together. And I remember that the school for their summer camp had a Guitar Hero setup.
Yeah.
And I ran into my boss's office. I was like, hey, do you still have that Guitar Hero setup in that box of candy? And they were like, yeah, why? I'm like, don't worry, just point. And I grabbed this giant box of leftover candy from Halloween. It's like April. And this TV with the Guitar Hero on it, and I'm pushing it, and my after-school kids see what I'm setting up for our after-school setup, and it's just I'm going to feed them candy, and we're going to play Guitar Hero. But I planned ahead, and I was like, hey, I hate most of the music in Guitar Hero. Here is $20 American middle schoolers. First person to bring me a 5-point score from Raining Blood from Slayer receives $20. So I sat with a bunch of 13-year-olds eating candy, listening to Slayer on a Friday afternoon.
That's a good trick.
I just remember watching the kids see me pushing that thing and going like, is he Jesus?
Yeah, I bet. I can imagine.
At Jesse_Wagner_. So many games. God of War.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4. Battlefront 2. Condemned Criminal Origins. Psychonauts.
Psychonauts was 2000.
Burnout Revenge.
Fuck.
Bring me Burnout Paradise or nothing.
Fear. F period. E period. A period. R period. Destroy All Humans.
Great game.
And she says the best of all of them, 50 Cent Bulletproof.
Fuck yeah. It's no blood on the sand, but it's pretty good.
What was 50 Cent Bulletproof? I don't even know about
it. Was
this.
like a third-person action game
where you're 50 Cent.
Yeah.
And you just
and you're fucking people up.
Yeah.
Blood on the Sand.
Now, what is that?
So that's the sequel. Would you like to describe it, or shall I?
I think we can do it together.
Okay,
you
so
start.
50 Cent
and the G Unit.
And the G Unit travel to the Middle East for some reason, and then 50 Cent has a diamond-encrusted skull stolen from him. By a terrorist organization?
Yeah, because I think it has something to do with the Iraq War, the Afghanistan,
and
something like that.
Now 50 Cent and G Unit are now like a paramilitary group going after terrorists to get back his diamond-encrusted skull.
Commander Tony Yayo, permission to fire, sir.
You're not that far off.
Yeah, you're not. That's one of the special abilities is you call in other members of the G Unit and they have like
amazing.
Destroy the whole screen thing.
Did you ever wish that Pop Rap and the Iraq War had a video game together?
That might be, honestly.
And it's pretty playable. That's the fucked up part. It's pretty fun.
We've talked about a lot here. I think that what you're describing might be the most mid-2000s thing ever.
100%.
Better
50
than you would
Cent
think.
Yeah,
plus the Iraq War.
I think it being pretty good is what makes it 2000s-y too.
Yeah.
Is that someone really earnestly thought this was a thing people needed.
Make me your friend, I got your back for life. Make me your enemy, and the world ain't big enough for you to hide in.
50 Cent Bulletproof is here. Can you survive the streets? Travel through New York's drug underworld as 50 takes on the most deadly gangs and crime syndicates in the city. Starring Dr. Dre, Eminem, the G Unit Soldiers, and written by The Sopranos' Terry Winter. With 4 CDs worth of exclusive music, this is the ultimate 50 Cent experience. 50 Cent Bulletproof, out now.
November 14th, 2005. This is just fun. During preparation for Domino Day 2005 at Frisian Expo Center in Leeuwarden, Netherlands, Workers were setting up a section of dominoes when a house sparrow flew into the building, landing on a domino and causing a chain reaction that toppled 23,000 dominoes.
Fucking that bird is awesome.
This is from German TV channel DW. After calling in an animal expert who tried unsuccessfully to catch the bird, the angry domino fans opted for heavy artillery. A hunter took aim and shot the sparrow inside the building, ending the threat to the world record attempt. Quote, "Regrettably, it was the only option," said one of the team members.
Oh, fuck.
So they just fucking shot a bird.
You know what was crazy is that
Inside.
they
You know what's crazy is people who set up dominoes having weaponry.
I know, yeah. Well, no, but they call in an animal expert, and the animal expert has a gun.
like, shoot the bastard.
Yeah, exactly. He's an expert.
Well, when Elmer Fudd is in charge of your domino thing, Daffy Duck shows up and decides to fuck your day up.
Bird season.
Oh, fuck.
Domino season.
So apparently it was just a small section. They were trying to go for the world record and topple 4 million dominoes, which they ended up doing.
all of
Fucking
this.
nerds.
I think somewhere.
Nerds with pistols.
See, this is what happens when you are in the Netherlands and you don't have a huge military that just needs to go murder people. You're like, hey, let's set up a bunch of dominoes. That could be fun.
I think this is also around the time in 2005 where I flipped a car on the 405.
Whoa.
Yeah,
What happened?
I was driving to go pick up my brother so I could take him to a mindless self-indulgence concert.
Oh,
my
hell yeah.
fucking
I was going
God.
for the opening band.
Oh my fucking
But
God.
and the car in front of me stopped real suddenly, and I used to drive a '93 Isuzu Trooper, not to brag.
Whoa, what?
And,
I love those little cars.
And
oh, wait, is that...
that's the giant one.
Oh, no, I'm
that's
thinking of a Suzuki Sidekick.
Yeah,
Never
no,
mind.
this was the opposite of a Suzuki Sidekick.
Never
It was
mind.
a giant SUV.
Okay.
And that was famous for tipping. And I always used to make the joke, if you turned too fast, it felt like it was going to tip. Well, then the day it tipped was very exciting. A tire blew out, and I spun onto the side and then skidded for 200 feet.
Fuck.
And I had 3 thoughts immediately. One was fuck, we're going to miss the concert. 2, oh shit, where are my CDs? Just like you, CDs in the car was a big thing.
What are you going to listen to while you're driving?
And then also I appear to have been in some sort of terrible car accident.
Yeah.
I remember I was listening to the new Franz Ferdinand record, which had just come out, and I've never had much of a care for it since then.
You were taken out.
Yeah, it was. It was, yeah. And I remember then I limped my car home. I got all home. That was like a real, marathon run. And then, I was real bummed about that, and I was sad about a girl because I always was, and then
things were mad different.
I called home to be sad, and then they were like, "Hey, I'm glad you called. It saved us a phone call. Grandpa died."
Oh,
It was like this killer run where shit just kept going bad.
Oh, my God.
I thought missing MSI was going to be the worst part of your night.
What's great is I just still only recently heard an MSI song because this band Kill Radio was opening, who I was super into at the time, and so we were just going to go see Kill Radio and then leave, and that was how I was going to get away with taking my brother to a concert on a school night.
Yeah, MSI was fucking awful. Halfway between techno and noise and just a guy screaming in a really high pitch.
It was weird because they were awful, but they were awful smartly enough right as things like the Hollywood Undead became a thing. So they're like, no one will notice how bad we are.
Oh yeah, and they caught some early internet craze where they got popular online.
They were an early MySpace band.
Yeah, they were. God, I hope they're all dead.
I assume they are.
This is my last note, and then we'll just open it up and just start throwing in albums and movies and all this stuff. All the people on New Year's Rockin' Eve 2005. This is how we ended it, how we started it. Mariah Carey, Hilary Duff, Sean Paul.
Fuck yeah.
Jeez.
Getting busy.
The Bangles, Chris Brown, 3 Doors Down, Duran Duran, Green Day, the Pussycat Dolls, Sugarland, and of course the new host Ryan Seacrest.
Oh, and that was the first Seacrest.
I don't want to see any of that. That was
a lot of that was bad.
Yeah,
and none of it really seems relevant to 2005, except maybe Sugarland and Sean Paul.
Yeah.
Maybe the Pussycat Dolls.
Who only existed then.
Yeah.
I genuinely am trying to think of if there's any, because my New Year's 2005 to 2006 story is a lot of fun, and I'm desperately trying to think if there's any part of it I can talk about on air.
Okay.
It's God. No, but it was fun. There was a lot of drugs and a lot of naked people.
Okay.
And oh man, sorry, it just put me back in a hole.
I was gonna say we'll wait.
Here, I just have to tell this part because it's fun and I want to put it in something, but it might never. I just remember seeing a plate full of drugs that spelt out 2006 and people perhaps snorting Happy New Year 2006 and just thinking at the time, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Good Lord.
Shit.
Anytime you turn lines into any shape, you're with absolute
and the person who was doing it
deranged
was
people.
so proud of what they'd done.
Yeah, of course.
And so like I
'Cause
feel like
they were high.
I feel like I can tell that part like that much of the story without incriminating myself.
Yeah.
I think I did a pretty good job there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was a wild New Year's.
So I know you guys all like kind of looked at a list. Is there anything that we haven't hit yet as far as movies, music, video games?
Oh, yeah, there's an artist that I got a fucking bone to pick, and they were popular for 5 minutes in 2005, and that's the band Pepper.
Don't know.
You guys remember You Want to Have Some Dirty Hot Sex With Me? That piece of shit song?
No.
That was okay. Great. I guess you guys all went to colleges where everybody didn't think that was the best band in the world. And you had to sit down and go like, I guess suicide is the answer.
It's been a while since I've seen your face.
Like, let's take pop punk and Sublime and bad reggae.
See you come around my place.
My place. He's trying to do the.
We talked about it, and I think I know what's coming up.
I mean, it's not good.
It just sounds like songs I've heard before. I've never heard the song, but I have heard it before.
Wait till that chorus kicks in, though, and they get into the reggae part, and you're just like, there's no God.
Well, if it is, I'm sorry, miss, but you know I'm just 19. So don't be afraid when my pants start to leak.
That's such a gross line.
What did he say?
He said, I'm just 19. Don't be afraid when my pants start to
Because
leak.
I'm in my sexuality. Here we go. Oh, cringy.
Why don't you have some dirty hot sex with me?
It's like what?
Pick it up.
If a Hollister started a band.
This is PacSun.
I mean, it sounds like really awful Sublime.
Yeah. Wow. I never heard that.
See, this was
Sublime.
Legion when I was in high school. They
Wow, okay.
they somehow I feel like played Long Beach 11 times in the first semester I was in college.
They actually were the Long Beach Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, this was what happened between people going and seeing the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, not good.
And Dave Matthews.
I got a couple. Wolf Mother's self-titled album came out in 2005. That was a
solid record.
Dope as fuck album.
The
Greta Von Fleet version 1.0.
Hey, don't you dare.
Don't you put those fucking...
The value... No. But the value of that is that Greta Von Fleet reminded us that Wolf Mother didn't suck as bad as we decided they did.
Yeah, like that first Wolf Mother album was legit. The rest of them were shit. But
I mean,
like,
and most of that first Wolf Mother record isn't good, but I will give you Dimension, the opening track, fucking rips.
Yeah.
And Thief in the Night is good in every movie that has ever shoehorned
Joker and the Thief. And then Mind's Eye was really
Mind's
good.
Eye's not bad too.
Yeah, but like that album was good. And then 2005 was also the year George Carlin's Life is Worth Losing came out, which I think is his best special of all of them.
You know what's funny is I remember watching that at Shady Glen Apartments with my roommates, and we were all 18, 19, I guess, at that point, and being like, I didn't like it. And it wasn't until years later when I became a cynical asshole that I watched it again, I think, and I'm just like, oh, this is amazing.
You know, it starts off with A Modern Man, which hands down is one of the most amazing bits of any comedian
You know,
ever.
I saw him do that on Jay Leno before it came out.
That was the way he was like, hey, watch my special. I made this and it's good as fuck. That's to me, that was when he like put out his like, you know, I'm not just an artist, I'm also a hell of a good writer. Like, look at my fucking big writing dick. I have a huge writing dick. I want you all to see that.
He also, though, was like coming off of like, at that point, he was mostly a writer because he was doing the books.
Yeah.
And then he was also coming off of arguably his worst special.
Complaints and Grievances?
That's the one.
Or You Are All Diseased.
Or You Are All Diseased.
That's what I mean.
Because that's
You Are All
the one.
Diseased is shit.
Well, so the reason,
I think,
you know why, though, right? So he had a special that he'd been touring ready to go pre 9/11, and the name of the special was I Like It When Lots of People Die. And it was literally, he was going to be taping it like I think September 01, and then had to change it to, and then did You Are All Disease, which has Carl, as much as I revere Carl, in his lowest moment where he's just like,
so for that reason tonight I'm announcing my intention to cooperate with the United States government. right. Now listen. Yeah. I'm even thinking of lending my support to Governor Bush. Good old Governor Bush. I'm hoping he does a good job. If he does, maybe we might think of electing him president in 2004, okay?
Sort of co-signing on Bush.
Yeah, well, that special, I think You're All Diseased wasn't bad. It just wasn't as good as all the other stuff he did. It still had hella laugh out loud moments, and it had a lot of good of his, I'm pissed off and fuck these people riffs, which are always fun. But I think Life is Worth Losing is his best special, only second to his last special, which is why I think he's always going to be the best, is because who else can say my last two specials are my best two specials? Fuck you, I was almost dead. I'm 80-something years old, and I'm still doing the best work. But Life is Worth Losing is really good for the opening, I think, and the beginning. The whole thing is good. The way and Life is Worth Losing is where he basically dissects the American dream. That's
What's the
one
last one, then?
The last one
It's bad.
It's bad for you.
Okay,
Yeah.
actually, I'm back on board because I keep thinking of It's Bad For You, not Life's Worth Losing.
Life is Worth Losing. He opens up with Modern Man, and then he dissects the American Dream, and he has that great line. It's called the American Dream because you have to be asleep to believe it. And then he goes through the whole American Dream and dissects basically fuck you, this is stupid. And then he ends with that big crescendo about your uncle who it gets worse and worse, spirals, and they even have the lights going with it. And he has interviews afterwards where he had just gotten out of the hospital before that, so you can tell there's a few flubs and he's not as articulate as he normally is.
Yeah.
But the material and the skills of his writing for that one are so far ahead of everyone else before and after. Even now, people will be like, "Who's your favorite comic?" And you'll be like, "Mulaney or somebody." Well, they're telling good jokes, but if you watch McCarlin's last two specials, he's literally taking the American society, American dream at large, and just dissecting it on such a level where it's insane, and he's making it funny, and it's just a fucking amazing. So to me that was huge. You said the books. That was also the time when I was reading the books like they were like fucking drugs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Great.
When will Jesus bring the pork chops?
Yeah, that was
fucking great book.
That's the last one, but he also had the ones where
Silly Putty or
Silly Putty,
Napalm and Silly Putty,
and then the other one which were
brain droppings,
and those were basically the basis for You're All Diseased and that special that came out right before it. But like the Life is Worth Losing, that blew my fucking socks off when I was 20. I was just like, holy fucking shit, this is everything stand-up is supposed to be.
Oh, yeah.
I did not hear it when it came out. I retroactively heard it a while back. I didn't start doing comedy until 2010. And then I remember at some mic, this one guy went up and he was doing this bit, and it was it was flowing it, and all of a sudden people started saying "heard it," and he was doing a Modern Man thing verbatim.
Oh, good.
From George Carlin.
Doing covers,
he covered the set.
That was a thing though for a minute. I feel like was a lot of young comedians who want to do comedy just doing people's acts verbatim.
Oh yeah. Well, no, it just
they still do it. It's just we don't know who the fuck they're ripping off.
No,
we're so far removed.
I'll find this and I'll post it on our Twitter at The Goods Pod. There is I saw a thing where it was so and so performs the comedy of Robin Williams, and it's a Robin Williams look-alike, and he does the Beatles
There's comedy tribute.
He does the Beatles tribute thing.
At least they're up front.
He does the Beatles tribute thing where he'll come out in the rainbow suspenders with a different wig and do the early 70s, and then he comes out with the weird shirt that looks like the logo for Windows 95 for the Broadway special. He does I
fucking hate
the
this.
eras of Robin Williams. It's fucking bizarre.
But at
man.
least he's up front with it. I remember when I first started doing stand up, everyone had at least 5 minutes that was a direct lift of Mitch Hedberg. At least a couple minutes that was a direct lift of Dave Chappelle, and then some vague, weird Chris Rock stuff where you're that's either a theft or it's you're doing an impression.
Well, I'll say this now, and you can calling it out if you want. I was just in New York. Everybody's kind of doing Jeselnik.
Yeah,
there. So
that's the New York style.
Yeah, fuck all y'all.
Look, when I pace back and forth and repeat my topic over and over again, it's something I've organically developed.
Yeah, just start stomping when I do my punchline. This is mine. I always wear a big leather jacket.
I was gonna say, I am the only one who talks about rap on this podcast.
Yeah. Go for it.
This was a big year for Texas rap. Mike Jones released "Who Is Mike Jones?"
Yeah.
I meant to bring up Mike Jones.
I think somebody tweeted at us about Mike Jones.
Mike Jones. Paul Wall had "The People's Champ." Slim Thug released Already Platinum. Bun B had Trill.
I had a creative writing class with one of Paul Wall's many managers.
Whoa, nice. Yeah, I bet he went through them. Little John released Crunk Juice.
Yes, yeah.
The Yin Yang Twins came out with the album that had Whisper Song on it.
So working at my job on the zombie show, there are villains called the Whispers. And I have been pitching in every format possible, in every script I've been allowed to put words into, a reference to the Whisper Song from the Yin Yang Twins.
And why won't they allow that?
No one fucking remembers it except you and me.
What?
And that literally, though, then some fucking angel who for sure also listens to Goods from the Woods, who like came out to see my show, came to a taping of the show. Saw me do warm up towards the end of the season. I was bitching and moaning that I've been trying to get this reference to the goddamn Whisper Song, because at one point they stab a character and whisper in his ear. And I said, I want someone to fucking freeze this video and just start playing the goddamn song. And some angel sent it to me on Twitter, so I can find my soul can be set free and I no longer have to haunt this house. But I'm so glad you brought that up, because that song's insane and not enough people talk about it.
Just wait till I show you this. Hey girl, wait till I show you this. Wait till I show you this. Hey girl.
Also, Beanie Siegel, The Becoming, just a great album. Common B, another
shit,
a legitimately good album.
Yeah, with that's I was just thinking.
Yeah, and Lil Wayne, The Carter 2. I'm not the biggest Lil Wayne fan in the world, but
probably
that's
the best of the Carters.
Yeah, definitely. Great
Carter 3.
I mean, as someone who is named Carter, I feel like I should like Lil Wayne. I just can't bring myself to do it.
I got two movies to highlight.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Devil's Rejects.
Oh,
2005.
Yeah.
Still one of my favorite movies of all time. I don't know what that says about me, but it ends in a gunshot battle to Freebird. If anybody's never seen that movie, even just see the end. Just see people dying in a hail of gunfire to the guitar solo of the Freebird, and understand somewhere I have an erection. I love it. It's one of my favorite movies. And then The Descent, another one of the best horror movies ever made.
Shit. The Descent
seeing
is
The Descent
so
in
good.
theaters was such a revelation.
God, I probably haven't watched that movie since it came out.
It's
but
great.
God, it was great. Yeah. The one music I wanted to mention that I haven't said anything about yet is something that I know you and I share an experience with, which is this one right here. This came out this year. Z by My Morning Jacket, which is probably...
It's the sound angels make when they want to chill.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, Guero by Beck, Late Registration by Kanye
Guero
West.
was so fucking good. Every track on Guero was
Z
good.
by My Morning Jacket and Demon Days by the Gorillaz. I think those were my 4 albums that I listened
Mine's like
to.
Demon Days, this, Searching for a Form of Clarity from Against Me are like the big 3.
Yeah, and you mentioned Tom Seiniger and you being at a lot of same shows together. You and I, without knowing each other,
we're at
Bonnaroo.
6.
When My Morning Jacket comes out with it's pitch black, they come out with lanterns, and then they set the lanterns down, and then this fucking song starts, and
you're forgetting the best
hold on,
part
we have
of the
to hear
show.
it.
Wait. My favorite sound. Do you remember, though, at this show, the lanterns were cool.
Yeah.
They dumped $400 worth of glow sticks on the audience 5 minutes before the show started.
Yes.
And people started throwing them.
Yeah, which is...
So when My Morning Jacket walked on stage with the lantern, you only saw the lantern and not them through a cloud of flying glow sticks that was 20 feet high.
Yeah, this was one of the best concerts I've ever seen.
And did you also ditch Tom Petty early to go to it?
No, I think I saw all of Petty.
Okay, because I skipped out on Petty to get good spots for this, and I was of mixed emotions because I missed the back half of a lot of good Tom Petty songs, but also saw one of the best shows I've ever seen.
So, no, I as far as I know, I saw all of Tom Petty. I was in the back for this.
I was up
Bonnaroo.
close.
But goddamn, well, that was the next year, by the way. That was 2006, but this record did come out in 2005.
This whole record, this guy did Beats for You. It's got Gideon.
The whole
thing,
thing,
every song on this is
front
good.
to back is fucking
off
perfect.
the record.
Yep.
Like, god damn it.
Yep.
I fucking love My Morning Jacket so much.
They're the shit.
People used to tell me I look like this
You
guy.
100% do.
Yeah, everybody in the band kind of put together into
Sometimes
one
when I walk
person.
in River's house and you're here, I'm just like, No, it's not. He's not friends with Jim James.
Well, they're a band that I respect musically, but also just on the level. And that was a time when I was seeing Kings of Leon at Bonnaroo all the time too. And they were for a minute there.
Kings of Leon, unbeknownst to most people, were a good band for 2 whole records.
They were good until that somebody told that guy he could sing, and then when he started trying to be Bono,
somebody told him he could sing, and and handed him a copy of Joshua Tree. And was like, be the worst band besides the Black Keys.
But for a while there, they were like the Kings of Bonnaroo, and they were in a contest for the hairiest band ever. And
Caleb's fucking beard was mighty.
And then they cut their hair and did Sex on Fire.
I remember them coming on, and it was before Sex on Fire. Even I remember for the shitty record before that, them going on Conan and me being so excited. New fucking Kings of Leon record? You kidding me? This is gonna be great. And literally by the end of the 4 minutes of their performance, I no longer liked them.
Oh man,
happened so quick. That Beanie Siegel album I mentioned, The Becoming, never made a good piece of music after that.
I want to do it as a rad someday and just get a UN of dorky record dudes together for the bands where you like one album. Because I have 3 or 4 bands where I love one album with all my heart and could not give a less of a fuck about the rest of their career.
Yeah, that happens a lot. They just do the right amount of drugs or something. They get a good producer in the studio with them and something happens.
Yeah.
I still have the early aughts. Like, there's so many bands that I like now that at the time I was like, fuck that band. Like, because they were too cool or too whatever.
Popular, yeah.
Like the best example I was thinking was The Rapture. I used to hate The Rapture, and I'm like, they were pretty solid. There were just so many good freaked out beardy white guy bands that I could just discern bands that were perfectly fine just because there was so much around.
Oh, yeah.
So one movie I wanted to mention before we wrap this thing up that came out in November of 2005, and I remember that because I went immediately from our first radio show we ever did on November 20th, 2005. Me and my boy Chandler White, shout out to Chandler out there in Fayetteville, Georgia. The Dr. Rock and Captain Fantasy show went live November 20th, 2005. History was made. That was my first time on the radio, and radio is the thing that led me to stand up. So in a lot of ways, that is I think of that as a crucial moment. But we did the show. We had, I think, 2 people called in, which was cool. And then
how many were prisoners?
Huh? Oh, we hadn't had the prisoners yet. That was like 2007 is when we started getting calls from jail, which was really the highlight of my broadcasting career. Was getting calls from dudes in fucking Lee County Correctional Facility being like, "Hey man, can you play some more Primus? That was fucking cool." Yeah, man. What do you want to hear?
Lacquerhead.
Yeah, Lacquerhead, because I am. But
I had but one desire: set my skull on fire. That's why I'm here.
That's why I'm here.
They call me Skullface.
It's Sunday. They don't let me out till Monday. But we left the radio station that night. It was Sunday evening, and we went to the movie theater, and we saw Walk the Line, which came out that year. Yeah. Which started a thing that I don't fucking like in music biopics, and they apparently did it for the Elton John one too, where they actually get the actors to sing.
It's not as bad in Rocket Man as it is in Walk the Line.
Okay, yeah, because Walk the Line, it's like the music is good. It just doesn't sound like Johnny Cash.
We've discussed
at fucking all.
I feel like the Doors movie kind of ruined that for everybody.
They lip synced the Doors movie.
No, they didn't. That's Val Kilmer. That's Val Kilmer.
Motherfucker, you don't know the story about how Val Kilmer got the job?
Okay.
That's how he got the fucking role. Was he played him a tape and said, if you can tell which one's me and which one's what's his face?
Jim Morrison.
Then I'll never bother you again.
I
and it turns out the joke was the whole tape was fucking him.
He really had
couldn't
to
tell.
sweet talk Oliver Stone. I mean, on top of being a dead ringer for Jim Morrison too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like he didn't kutcher his way into that fucking. Hey, I look like him. He's had to fucking sing the song and shit.
Yeah.
Oh wow. That's, I mean, not everyone can be a Jimmy Fox.
I went on vacation that summer and was with my aunt, and they didn't have a single Johnny Cash song to play, but they had the entire Walk the Line soundtrack.
Yeah.
And you've never seen someone more pissed off and shitty than me in the last seat of her giant SUV with my arms crossed going like, these are great songs, but you're listening to the shittiest version. I don't want to hear Joaquin Phoenix be shitty.
Oh, it was 2005 because
I hate that movie
because I know the date. I know the date of my first radio show for sure, and I know that afterwards we went and see that movie because we were there with my buddy TK, and about halfway through, and we were drinking. A bunch of my friends were back at the house listening to us on the radio and getting shit faced. And then we come back from the radio station. Everybody's real drunk. My buddy TK drunk more than anyone else. TK at the time lives at home with his parents. This is going to be crucial in a moment. We go to the movie theater to watch Walk the Line. We sneak in booze. TK gets more and more drunk. And then about halfway through Walk the Line, he gets up and walks outside and just never comes back. So the movie's over and we're like, where the fuck is TK? Me and my buddy Richard go in the bathroom to take a piss after the movie, and we just see his legs underneath a stall just hanging out and vomit everywhere. He vommed all over the place.
I think you gotta leave him at that point.
And then he vommed everywhere and then passed the fuck out in the vom. We had to like get under the stall to like unlock the stall because he was completely unresponsive. And so like Richard goes under the stall, unlocks it. We get him out. He had driven there. So he has a pickup truck, and keep in mind, it's November, so it's chilly outside and it's kind of drizzling a little bit. And at this point, we're like, well, shit. So we got a sober driver. We get him out of the movie theater. I don't remember how. I think I was too embarrassed at that point to even look. I was like, fuck this. I'm going to go outside. We get him outside. Because he's covered in vomit, we don't want him in his own car. So we just throw him in the back of the pickup truck.
Yeah, I was going to guess that's what you did. That's what you do in that situation.
And we drove him.
He's fucking cargo.
And we got, yes, he was.
He wasn't feeling bad, so we put him in the front and I sat in the back.
we got
let him drive home.
We got a designated driver to drive him back to his parents' house, and his dad was like a crazy person, so we just kind of parked the car in the we just parked the car in the driveway, and if memory serves, I think we just like fucking honked a couple of times until we saw his dad coming outside, and then we just bolted. We just left him there because we were all 19.
Everything I know about TK is from this podcast, and it's just that he's a maniac.
Yep.
All of River's friends from Auburn have like genuine like craziness to him. Like even like his friend Bugs, who's like the normalest of them, you know, is an oddball. All of River's friends have like really like weird like hard banks to their personality. Like one guy who just dresses up in like Confederate regalia. Like they're all interesting. I was gonna say
shout out to Miles listening out there in Radioland.
Oh, I love Miles. What is it?
They do seem like you're like grooming a group of people to fight a Southern superhero who never came to
yes. Brokeback Mountain was 2005.
Oh,
that was big. And
Great
then
movie.
also Spoon had
is that Gaga?
No, that's
Gimme Fiction.
Gimme Fiction.
yeah.
Was 2005.
Turn my camera on. That one.
He did turn his camera on.
He did.
According to that song.
Batman Begins. Also,
yes,
Batman Begins was the beginning of my favorite Batman series. I think everyone's.
I am going to say this. I remember, like, I always get a little bummed that Dark Knight exists because, like, Batman Begins is the perfect Batman movie.
Yeah, it's good.
And, like, Dark Knight is, like, a good crime movie that Batman is in.
Right.
But he doesn't do any Batman-ass Batman stuff in it.
Yeah.
He's just a man wearing a cape who's like, I got to be in the movie Heat some more.
And I have a lot of money.
And I always feel bad because I feel like the Dark Knight is like treated like it's the warm up, or like Batman Begins treated like it's the warm up band for this
For the
other
Dark
movie
Knight.
instead of being the best Batman movie.
Well,
made.
also it's I love Batman Begins because I think I can't remember the guy's name, but the Scarecrow in that
Cillian Murphy.
that dude is the best villain.
He's about to be the new Bond.
Is he?
Really?
Wait,
I can't-
what?
That's what I heard.
I saw that too, but I can't pull for him as a good
Finally,
guy.
a Bond
He is
for me.
the best villain. Even
He's
in
Jim in
2000
28 Days Later, man.
And then
That's where you fall in love with him.
And then 2005 also was Red Eye, where
he's awesome.
Where he's awesome. I mean, it's a shitty movie, but he is great in it. He's just a
Have you
great
seen
psycho.
Dunkirk?
He's
He's fucking great at Dunkirk.
Dunkirk is good. Yeah, he's great. in that
And the
too.
fact that he's all confident, and then you never see what happens to him. You just see him cocky, and then him destroyed as a human being.
Yeah.
Oh man, Carter, do you have any other 2005 thoughts?
Was this year chosen because this is kind of the year when we all started getting drunk?
That's when we all
I mean,
kind of
this- yeah,
turned into
this is the year
sleaze
It's definitely the year I started getting drunk.
This is the year I started doing drinking professionally. This was where
I started smoking cigarettes in this year.
Yeah, 2005 is the year I graduated from like I'm drunk off 3 sweet drinks to like who has Jack Daniels.
I think 2006 would be the first time I smoked weed, but I was firmly entrenched in drinking territory at this point.
Oh yeah, this is 2005 is when I started. I don't have any more, obviously, but I started in earnest a whiskey bottle collection.
Oh, hell yeah.
I would have every size of every brand. Like I had all the different sizes of Jack Daniels, all the different sizes of Jim Beam. This is like my
Evan Williams for the low times.
I love it. Yeah, Evan Williams for like game days, and I don't feel like spending money.
Yeah, that's I think that's accurate. That was the year I lived in the Anchor House, where just everybody would start the night there and then go do whatever we were doing, and then we would end there, kind of a thing. So it was Shady Glen Apartments. Just became like the epicenter of my entire friend group. So I was living in the middle of that, and it was fun times.
No, great year. That's all I'll say about that.
2005.
A lot of good content.
I gotta start live journaling again. We gotta all get a live journal.
All this has done is made me miss MySpace. White belts.
That's our show. 2005.
We did it, guys.
We
This was fun.
fucking did it. 2 goddamn parts.
I got one.
What do you got?
2005 is when Invite Them Up came out. That fucking CD. That shit was huge because I had just started doing stand up in 2005.
East Coast comedy.
I'm gonna end this show by playing John Glazer's "My Dad Was in ZZ Top." It's still one of the funniest things ever.
That whole fucking album is good. I remember that
my dead dad was in ZZ Top.
I had just started stand up.
Yeah, Eugene Merman on there. Fuck, I was so into
that thing. Eugene Merman was huge for us.
I was gonna say he actually might have been my favorite comic that year.
That was how everybody discovered him. I remember
On Guard Society.
That album came out, and all of us open mic losers in Birmingham were like huddled in a car in Southside in Birmingham, laughing our fucking asses off at that album, being like, other people are doing what we're doing. They're better, but like they're doing what we're doing.
And then a year later, all of those artists would get shows on Super Deluxe.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Eugene Merman's face would be the unskippable ad in front of all of them.
Eugene Merman was the one where like you were listening to the album being like, holy shit, this is what we're doing. But then you'd hear him and be like, nobody's doing this, and this is the best thing ever.
My favorite joke on the whole record is
I went to the movies and I got there late and it was sold out, but I didn't see it, so I said to the woman, I was like, can I have a ticket? And she's like, can't you read? It's sold out. And I was like, no. That's why I'm at the movies.
Unbelievable. He's
That's how everybody discovered Dimitri Martin too.
Yeah, Dimitri Martin was on there. Yeah, that is kind of the Rosetta Stone of what would be.
It's the East Coast one, and then there's the Death Ray one for the West Coast.
That's right. Yeah. Oh fuck yeah, man. Yeah.
Because the West Coast one, I got to represent the West Coast.
Yeah, of course.
It's got, like Andy Daly on it doing the comedian who talks about nothing.
Yeah.
Which is still one of my favorite bits of all
Seth
time.
Morris is Bob Duca.
Yep.
One of the funniest things I've ever heard. Still, Chad. Fuck. Scabies, rabies, Mickey Rooney sugar babies. Fucking amazing. That's a hell of a year, you guys. That's 2005. Did we miss anything? Please tweet at us at The Goods Pod. All right, we'll go around. Everybody plug your pluggables. We'll start with Joe motherfucking Rains.
I'm on Twitter and Instagram as Joe MF Rains. Follow me so I don't look like a stepdad spying on his children.
Sam?
YouTube, LA Comedy Life. I just go around with my cell phone fucking with comics at open mics and shows.
The new one is tremendous. Friend of the show, Chris Estrada, tells a story about getting dissed by Jerry Seinfeld at the Comedy Store that is one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
You have to subscribe to Sam's channel and watch those videos. They're so fun.
Yeah. And Twitter, at Slam Harder.
Carter?
I'm just on Instagram. You could check me at Dr. Clark.
Which is, you're not a doctor, and that's also not your name.
That's why that's my nickname. Yeah, because I'm not a doctor, and my name's not Clark. So check that out.
I mean, you're kind of a doctor.
Thank you so much.
Kyle?
I'm at Kyle Clark is Rad on the Twitters and the Instagrams. You should check out my podcast, This Is Rad. If you're listening to this, it's probably the same collection of people. But yeah, that fun show. We've got some fun episodes coming up, and it's we're about to do Summer Rad, where we only do podcasts outdoors for a month.
Oh yeah.
It's hot. And then I have a new album out called Absolute Terror, and it's on my new record label, Radland Records.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have enough things to be in over my head on all the time. I decided to take a bunch of independent comedians and put their lives in my hands.
Fuck yeah, man.
So far we've got Solange Castro's A Journey of Self-Discovery, my record, Kyle Clark's Absolute Terror, and Keith Carey's Partylicious.
Yes.
All are out.
Nice.
All are great.
All our past guests of the show.
And so enjoy all of those.
Yeah, and coming soon, which I'm really excited about. Tom Goss.
Yep, Tom Goss and Jenny Hamilton.
Yeah,
two hilarious comedians with records en route.
I'm so excited to hear all those. Well, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/thegoodspod. We're on Twitter @thegoodspod. Every episode ever, youtube.com/thegoodspod. Buy a shirt, prowrestlingtees.com/thegoodspod. Pat, what should the folks do when they get to Apple Podcasts?
Apple Podcast?
They killed iTunes. iTunes is dead. It's now Apple Podcasts.
Oh my God.
They've broken up into Apple TV, Apple Music, Apple Podcast, Apple Radio. You know, they're keeping it simple.
Yeah, you should rate, review, and subscribe. Tell a friend. Buy some cargo shorts. Just make 2005 live forever, because that's what they're doing in Idaho right now. But of course, because it shows the attitude of gratitude.
And if you don't have the attitude of gratitude, Daddy,
fuck you.
Fuck you. Here is John Glazer's "My Dead Dad Was in ZZ Top," and we'll see you next week.
John Glazer,
My dad died recently. Thank you for that. And he and I were not very close. My parents were divorced when I was pretty young. And, I'd see him on weekends and all that, but it was a very peripheral relationship. And over the last several years, when we kind of knew he was dying and there was no going back, I thought we would be able to resolve certain things and put things behind us, but that was not able to happen. And so up until he died, I really never got to know him that well. And when he did pass away, I had to go back to Michigan and settle his estate and kind of go through things at his house. And it's a very profound, I have to say, very profound experience to get to know your father through his belongings, to discover things about him that you never knew, and sort of piece together who he is. And one of the things that I discovered upon going through his stuff was that my dad was in ZZ Top. Which is something that he never cared to share with me. Which may have made a big difference in my life and who I am. But he was in ZZ Top, and I discovered, not the band as you know them now, he was in an early incarnation before they really became who we know them to be now. And I discovered, basically in a box that was labeled, "Don't show this to my son." It's actually not true. I thought I'd throw one joke in there. Just for these guys to keep it, so it wasn't like, boring. But in this box of things, it was actually labeled ZZ Top letters, which I wasn't going to say because I thought you would never believe that, but that's what it said. And so I found these letters that he wrote to members of the band, and I wanted to read a few of them tonight. There was a lot of them, but I'll read 4. Just to kind of give a little bit of a syllabus to what you're about to hear, just to get you up to speed, to refresh your memory. The drummer's name is Frank Beard. So if you hear that name, that's who that's referring to. The guitar player is Billy Gibbons, and the bass player is Dusty Hill. So if you hear those names, those are the references. This first letter is, and I also just want to say really quick that I know in comedy shows that the letter, the correspondence, the journal, the diary it's a very tired comedic device. And the difference between mine and those is that these are real. These are real letters from my dead father who is in ZZ Top. This first letter is from the first weeks of the band when they were just kind of getting going. Hey guys, by now you know that instead of talking about stuff at rehearsals, I prefer to keep quiet, gather my thoughts at home, and write you all letters. I know you hate it and wouldn't put up with it if I weren't the greater Houston area's greatest keyboard player. It's one thing I never knew about my dad, that he lived in Houston. Anyway, dynamite rehearsals last week. I know you're not supposed to count your chickens before they come out of the eggs, but I think we're going to be huge. I mean, come on. Look at this lineup. Billy on guitar, Dusty on bass, Frank on drums, and Dave Glazer on keyboard. You gotta be kidding me. We'll be Houston's biggest soul fusion quartet in no time. So there's a lot of things I discovered about my dad in this first letter. That he played keyboard, which I never knew. That he used to live in Houston. I'm from Michigan. And that ZZ Top was originally a soul fusion quartet. The second letter, he talks about, I guess they were trying to come up with the name of the band. Hey guys, sorry to throw some negative vibes your way, but I have to say that I absolutely hate the name that was decided for our band. ZZ Top? Come on guys, you have got to be kidding me. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean, and I still have no idea what the Z's stand for, even after Billy explained it 5 times. But I do have to say that I at least like the top part of ZZ Top. So I'm suggesting that we drop the Z's and focus on the top part. Here are some band names I thought of. Tip Top, The Tip Toppers, Top Hat, Top This, Take It to the Top, Dessert Topping, The 4 Toppings, Spin Top Spin, Straight to the Top of the World, The On Top of Old Smokies, Top Top Till You Drop, and finally, TT Zop. My dad's words. And he put in parentheses after TT Zop, sorry guys, I couldn't resist putting that one in. I have more names, but we can just go over those at rehearsal. But give it some thought, guys. ZZ Top is just fucking stupid. Really harsh there. Oh, P.S. I saw that movie Midnight Cowboy after rehearsal. Don't bother seeing it unless you're into weird pornos. So this third letter, I guess they must have had a meeting about the beards that those guys have. Hey guys. First of all, I can't believe you didn't like any of my band names. Even some of the other ones from the list. Top of the Morning, Bad Tippers, Good Toppers, When the Red Red Robin Goes Top Top Topping Along, Stop Sign minus the S. That one I thought was kind of cool. But I've been outvoted, and I'll go with it. Just don't expect me to smile too much during our shows. Now, moving on to the suggestion of us all growing beards. Are you serious? Manicured, stylized beards that go down to the middle of the chest? Please. There's no way we'll get any backstage pussy with those things. I'm glad that at least Frank agrees with me on this one. If you guys want to go ahead and grow them, by all means, be my guest. Just don't go looking for any apartments in Pussyville, because there won't be any vacancies. My dad's words. I'm sorry to hold such a hard line on this one, but I don't look good with a beard anyway, and something that long would just get in the way of me trying to play my keyboard. So thanks, but no thanks. I'll just keep my ponytail. Just don't be surprised when I'm the only band member who smells like pussy. It'll be from all the pussy I'm getting. I never knew my dad had a ponytail. No photos, not even like photos of after, like, he never showed me photos, obviously, of ZZ Top, but he wouldn't even, no photos of like right after he quit, and there's still the ponytail, so. So I'm going to skip ahead. There was a few more letters in between that last one and this one, but this is where he quits. This is a pretty incredible letter where he tells the guys in ZZ Top he's out. Well, guys, I'm sure this will come as no surprise, but I'm quitting the band. This one was a no-brainer, as this is no longer the type of band I want to be in. I want to be in a soul fusion band. I've met with some musicians the last couple of weeks and decided to form a band with a sax player named Blue Mo and a bass player named Skeets Ding Dong. We're going to call ourselves Soul Fuchsius. It's a play on the name of the philosopher Confucius, while at the same time letting people know we're a soul fusion band. I thought of the name, and the other guys love it. So that's that. I just want to say I hope there's no hard feelings, but I also want to say that I'm so glad I'm not in your band anymore. I think ZZ Top is the fucking stupidest name. I think the songs suck. I fucking hate all of you guys. I hope you guys fucking fail beyond belief. I think you're all a bunch of dicks. I think the bass line in Tush sucks. Fuck you, Frank. Fuck you, Dusty. Fuck you, Billy. Fuck all you guys. And good luck finding another keyboard player, you dicks. Wow. So, want to thank Eugene and Bobby for inviting me up tonight. Thank you.
The Goods from the Woods was mixed, edited, and distributed by me, Rivers Langley. You can find the show on Twitter at TheGoodsPod. Our theme song was composed by DJ Smiles. Check him out on Twitter at DJ Smiles.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.